It being 10:30, I'd like to call the meeting of the Greater Lafourche Port Commission to order. And we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Ms. Lori Blum, will you lead us, please?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'd like to remind everyone to please turn on your cell phones or put them on vibrate. And Mr. Shermy, would you call the roll?
Seat A, Jeffrey Sherman here. Seat B, Perry Gisclair, absent. Seat C, Chris Godet.
Here.
Seat D, Rodney Gisclair.
Here.
Seat E, Wilbert Collins.
Here.
Seat F, Larry Griffin.
Here.
Seat G, John Melisson, absent. Seat H, Jimmy Guidry.
Here.
Seat I, Irvin Bruce.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you, Mr. Shermy. Next, we'd like to consider approving the minutes from our December 14th regular meeting.
Move.
I have a
Second.
motion by Mr. Griffin, second by Mr. Gisclair. Any discussion? Public comment? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, Executive Director's Report. Mr. Chasson.
Thank you, Mr. Acting Chairman, I guess I should say,
Vice
Vice President. First, I'd like to start with the Northern Expansion. First is Northern Expansion Slip C, 950 linear foot west bulkhead. Angela Piciola. Mr. Larry Piciola.
Blanchard Contractors are the contract on this project. They're getting close to the end. I think they have maybe a couple of weeks' work when they get in material. Today they put in the drainage aggregate. Trucks are coming in with the drainage aggregate, which is the next step. And I understand by the end of the week they should start receiving the rest of the lightweight aggregate. So things are starting to move again on that project.
Any questions? Okay, thank you. Next is Northern Expansion Slip C, 950 linear foot west sweep dredger.
Yes, that project was bid. We have a cost of $395,000 and some change, and we recommend approval. The bid was in order.
We'll be considering that later in the agenda. Thank you. Airport projects, update on aircraft operations. Richard.
Okay, we have our year-end summary, which is included in your packet. There were, just to give you a brief summary, we had 25,965 operations in 2016, and we had 111,833 passenger movements. So that was pretty good. Our worst months were in November and December, and I attribute that to the holidays, and our strong months were in June and September. One worthy fact of note is that Chevron conducted 82,400 of those passenger operations, and passengers, and conducted 9,683 operations. So we've got a full year of data to compare next year now, since Chevron started in November of 2015, I believe. So we'll keep an eye on this and keep you all posted in the future. In regards to airport projects, we have a couple coming up, the taxiway construction project, and we have an RPZ easement acquisition down the road, but that's just coming. If there's any questions?
How does this 111,000 passengers compare to past years?
Significantly higher, almost 125%, somewhere in that range.
Very good.
Or should I say 25%? The 100 is part of the
Yeah.
original.
And from the looks of it, 84% of our traffic is, or operations is all rotorcraft.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
Or rotor wing, because we don't want to say rotorcraft because that's a company, right? That's called rotorcraft.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Rotary wing.
So-
rotor wing.
Helicopters.
Yeah, helicopters.
How about that? We use helicopters. There you go.
There you go. There we go.
Okay, other port projects. First is the Section 203 feasibility study, GIS engineering. Mohan.
Good morning, everybody. Mohan Menon, GIS Engineering. I have to just report on the scoping meeting that is going to be conducted tomorrow at Matthews Government Complex Council Chambers. we have invited more than 700 people. 600 of them were sent by emails, a big notice by the port itself. And we have sent by mail around 120 people in the mailing list that was provided to us by Army Corps of Engineers. And this will be conducted tomorrow afternoon with the presentation and introduction by you, Chet, and then followed by a comment session. So that is the most important part of the scoping meeting. It's a requirement by the NEPA, that is National Environmental Policy Act, as part of preparing the draft environmental impact statement, that is EIS. Other than that, the study is progressing well. Economics study, as part of the feasibility study report, we have finalized the questionnaires for collecting primary information from the industry. It will be scheduled soon after the scoping meeting, which is again going to be tomorrow. So all are invited to attend the meeting. Other than that, I don't have anything to report. So if you have any questions, please.
Any questions? I want to thank the Lafourche Parish government and the council for allowing us to utilize the facility there. It's more centrally located for the people coming in.
Okay.
So we really need to thank them for allowing us to use those facilities.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mark. GOTU beach repairs. Angela Piciola or Joni can update us on that.
So we replied to FEMA's request for information. Their legal counsel's reviewing it, and that's where we're at right now.
Okay, thank you, Joni. All right, Town of Golden Meadow flood wall improvements and bulkhead. J. Wayne Plaisance.
The contractor continues to make slow but steady progress. Don't know when he'll be finished, but hopefully it'll be sometime this spring.
Okay. All right, any questions?
Okay, thank you.
John. Okay, the Nerby Collins Marina West Loading Zone bulkhead repairs. That project is complete. You can see from the picture, everything is done and is ready to be utilized whenever the need arises. The connector road base, we took quotes on that project. The connector road base basically is done. We're doing that area where we're going to put culverts. We took quotes on that, and we'll be getting that project done. You'll be considering approving that lowest quote later on the agenda. And then the airport maintenance shop addition. Piciola and Associates, Joe Piciola.
The low bidder on this project was Thomas C. Construction out of Thibodeau, and we processed all their construction documents. We did have a pre-construction meeting with them yesterday, and they expect to move on site within the next couple of weeks.
Okay. Any questions?
And about how long they're going to take to complete that project?
It'll probably be about a 2-month process. I mean, we already, the port purchased the building part of it, and it's already been built. It's waiting to be delivered when they say they're ready. So the foundation is primarily what's going to take the time. But
okay, thanks.
And that's because we're going to have to add pilings, or?
we have pilings underneath it, yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, Joe. Okay, we have on the agenda update from the LA1 Coalition, but we're going to skip over that and move on to public comment. I know we have a couple people that wish to address the board. Let's start with SLEC, Vic Lafont.
Yeah, I want to thank the commission again for allowing me to come before you. It's always good to be here with the SLEC family, with Roar, LA1, Gulf Economic Survival Team folks. But as a hometown boy and a personal note, it's always nice to come home. What you have in front of you there is the SLEC regional strategic plan for the next 3 years. We had one that concluded, actually, that would have concluded in 17. It was a 3-year. But of course, that one went right out the window with the oil bust that we just experienced. But I'm not going to go through details. Take your time, take a look at that. The important thing, that's 8 months worth of work, a lot of focus group meetings, a region-wide survey, but basically it comes down to 4, 5 major goals that SLEC will be doing. We will continue to aggressively, one, market this particular region, and particularly our assets, One of our strongest is our waterway system. You might be particularly interested in the front cover. That is Port Fourchon, a focal point of our region. And of course, our retention and expansion, helping companies with the rebound as things get better, coming back into our economic picture. The third thing is continually be a presence in the blueprint of our infrastructure here, whether it be LA1 Coalition, I-49, the road from the airport to the 4-lane, what have you. Those things that make us who we are and how we can make ourselves better. And of course, we'll continue to be an advocacy as a voice for the Bayou region in any and everything that affects our region, bringing that message to the rest of the world. More importantly, I think, is that in the past year and a half, Chet, and I think you'll agree, the relationship between SLEC and the port has become very close-knit. We work in tandem, constantly in contact with either Chet or Joni, and we kind of work pretty much working as a team to see and bring those things that the port needs to help us grow a little bit further. I will be coming back, and two things I'll be doing. The fourth quarter economic barometer is being compiled right now, and will be interested is the end of the fourth quarter of 2016. I will tell you that I am getting a lot of reports that things are not as bad. They're not good yet, but they're not as bad, which means there are not that many layoffs in numbers. Something's happening, and it's not as bad as it was before, but I'm hoping to have some numbers for you by that time. And of course, the annual report, what we did in 2016, which I think I wish I could apply toward the 2017, 2019 report, but we won't be able to. Believe it or not, in an exhausted period of our economics of the day, we did a lot of good things last year. I'm going to be looking forward to reporting that to you.
Any questions? Thank you, Vic. Okay, and Laura LeBlanc, Gulf Economic Survival Team.
Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you for the opportunity just to spend a few minutes with you this morning. I want to say Happy New Year, Happy Mardi Gras. It's great to be here. As you know, I represent the Gulf Economic Survival Team as well as LaMoga, Louisiana Mid-Continent Oil and Gas Association, and really look after all things regarding energy development in the Gulf of Mexico, all the regulatory issues. I've come before you on numerous occasions before, and it's usually I'm the bearer of bad news. The last 6 years have been tough as we've been fighting those regulatory hurdles, dealing with the offshore regulatory issues that have been really an onslaught of federal regulations. So I have been the bearer of bad news on many times, talked about so many regulations, and I don't need to name them all, but I'm sure many of you know them already by heart, with the well control rule or the air rule or the financial assurance policy. So it's been a tough 6 years of a regulatory battle. But looking forward is where we are today. In 2017, we are very hopeful. We are very optimistic. Our universe shifted in November of last year, and we are hopeful of a new administration that will be very supportive of offshore oil and gas issues in the Gulf of Mexico. So looking forward to that. We will be looking to still having more work to do in terms of unraveling the regulations that have been put upon us the last 6 years. And really by unraveling those regulations, we will be able to reshape our economic future. You know, crude oil prices are one thing, but the regulations that are overburdensome is another thing. And I know you've all heard the President-elect speak, and it gives us great hope and optimism about our future ahead. So having said that, GUEST, as you know, was formed in 2010. We are a grassroots organization that supports offshore oil and gas development in the Gulf of Mexico. We speak on behalf of the small businesses, we speak on behalf of the communities, and we speak on behalf of the people, making sure that we have a robust and thriving offshore industry. The port has been extremely supportive. Chet is with us all the way. He is a champion for all these issues, so I want to thank you all for being a champion and supporting and doing all that you do for these roundtable discussions that we have, whether it's with key members of Congress or the governor. So I look forward to working together to unravel the regulations. And right now we will continue to meet with congressional members as well as members of the transition team to make sure that our voices are heard on unraveling some of these regulations. Please feel free to reach out to me at any time during the year. I'm right up there in Thibodeau. If you have any questions or need updates on regulations, we are here as a resource for you. So I ask you to do that. I will give you copies of our 2017 Path Forward, if that's okay. We'll hand those out.
I gave them.
Okay, great. Well, then we'll have extras for some others. So feel free to review that and get in touch with me if you have any questions or comments. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, any other public comments? All right, includes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Chasson. Next, we're going to move on to the committee reports. First is Executive Committee. Members are Perry Gisclair, Chairman, Larry Griffin, Chucky Sherby, and John Mellison, Jr. The first item is consider approving the cooperative endeavor agreement with the South Louisiana Economic Council in support of Select, Restore, Retreat, and LA1 Coalition.
Okay, this agreement is done every year with cooperative endeavor agreement with the South Louisiana Economic Council. They provide, as Vic spoke earlier, support to us in economic development purposes and developing the port and the airport. And it's an agreement that they provide services as well as support to the LA1 Coalition and Restore Retreat. The total cost as far as this agreement is concerned and that we pay is $42,500, and that's a breakdown of $10,000 to the South Louisiana Economic Council, $10,000 to Restore or Retreat, and $22,500 to the LA1 Coalition. Recommendation to approve.
I'll move.
All right. Moved by Mr. Sherman, second by Mr. Collins. Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. All right, next item, we have consider approving the lease agreement for Schwest Shore-Based Services for site GLF 621-2.
Okay, you recall we discussed on Monday evening, there is a fence line and some other work that was done that went a little outside of the property line, kind of because they actually had a lease on 624, which is just south of that. So since they've given that up, we need to adjust and amend their lease, as well as sublease with Seaport 3. We need to approve that as well. So a recommendation is to approve.
All right. Moved by Mr. Collins, second by Mr. Bruce. Any discussion? All those in, public comment. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we'll move on to the Permits and Waterways Committee. Members are Chucky Shermy, Chairman, Wilbert Collins, Larry Griffin, and Perry Gisclair. Mr. Shermy.
Thank you, Vice President. First, we have Brad Frazier on proposed dredging, riprap, and pile cluster to allow for mooring of vessels. Approximately 5,169 cubic yards of material will be excavated and hauled off-site. And that's all we have on that, Mr. Vice President.
All right, thank you, Mr. Shermy. Our next committee is the Construction and Development Committee. Members are Mr. Irvin Bruce, Chairman, Larry Griffin, Perry Gisclair, and Rodney Gisclair. Mr. Bruce.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. Consider approving the lowest responsive bid for construction materials.
Okay, as we do every year, we take bids. We receive 3 bids for, this is for construction materials like river sand, topsoil, dirt, limestone, geotextile fabric, that sort of thing. And we take the lowest bid on each item. Grand Isle Shipyard was the lowest bid on the majority of the products. And on the gray limestone 3x1.5 gradation, the low bid was Araby Trucking. Recommendation is to approve all of these low bids.
All right.
Move.
Moved by Mr. Guidry, second by Mr. Gisclair. Any discussion? Public comment? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Consider approving the lowest responsive bid for fuel service.
Okay, we have fuel service both delivered here and to Fouchon and the airport, and it's for gas, and diesel, I believe. So the markup is 30 cents, and that's Wagaspack oil. Recommendation is to approve.
All right, moved by Mr. Collins, second by Mr. Griffin. Any discussion? Any public comment? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Consider approving the lowest responsive bid for Slip C 950 linear feet west deep dredge project.
Okay, the lowest responsive bidder was RLB Contracting Incorporated for $395,204 even. Recommendation is to approve that low bid for the sweep dredging.
Move.
Second.
All right, moved by Mr. Sherman, second by Mr. Gisclair. Any discussion? Public comment? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Consider approving the lowest quote for connector road entrance.
Okay, we received, asked for 3 quotes, and we only received 2 back, but we had 2 good quotes. And low quote was Byron E. Talbot Contractors Incorporated for $56,600. Recommendation is to approve.
All right, I have a motion by Mr. Bruce,
Second.
second by Mr. Shermy. Any discussion? Any public comment? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
That's all we have, Mr. Vice President. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Bruce. Next, we're going to move on to the Finance Committee. Those members are Mr. John Melson, Jr., Chairman, Jimmy Guidry, Chris Gode, and Perry Gisclair. Mr. Melson is not with us today, so I'll go through that report. The first item is consider approving payment of December 2016 invoices and recognizing expenditures over $10,000.
Move.
I'll go ahead and read those off for you. First item, Blanchard Contractors, $215,017.06 for Slip C 950 linear feet bulkhead. Next, Angelette Picciola, $55,941.46. That is for the Slip C 950 west bulkhead and the Slip C 950 northern west bulkhead. Next item, Golden Motors, $50,617.86. That is for 2017 Chevrolet Traverses. Next item, to Select, $42,500. That is for a 2017 intergovernmental agreement with Select, LA1 Coalition, and Restore Retreat. Next item, Duplantis Design Group, $30,306.03. That is for the airport runway, taxiway, lighting improvements, and the master stormwater management plan at the airport. Item number 6 is American Integration Contractors, $25,553.08. That is for technical services and equipment. Number 7, Vision Communications, $19,064.49. That is for telephone, internet, and cable services. Item number 8, Grand Isle Shipyard Incorporated, $17,287.93. That's for contract labor and limestone for the Nerby Collins Marina. Number 9, Aon Risk Services is $13,368 even. That is for the airport liability insurance premium. Next item, SBL Construction LLC, $10,283 even for Nerby Collins Marina West Side Loading Dock. And the final expenditure over $10,000 is Bank of America, $10,156 even for port credit card charges. That, in combination with all the other expenses, total $1,084,084.54.
Still move.
And a motion by Mr. Griffin, second by Mr. Collins. Any discussion? Any public comment? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. All right. Next item is considering out-of-state travel request. And we have Chet Chasson, our Executive Director, and Commissioners to be determined for the AAPA Spring Conference and/or NOIA Annual Meeting in Washington, D.C., April 3rd through 7th. Do I have a motion to accept?
Move.
Moved by Mr. Collins, second by Mr. Guidry. Any discussion? Public comment? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, is there, so that completes the Finance Committee report. Is there any other business? Any other?
Mr. Vice President, first I'd like to say we need to send our condolences to Mr. John Millison's wife and his family, and really send our prayers to them. And then number two, I'd like to, hopefully, our president and his wife has a good, healthy surgery and everything goes well for them. And then I'd like to make a motion, we adjourn.
All right, thank you, Mr. Sherman, and it's moved, second by Mr. Collins. Any discussion, public comment? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I'd like to thank everyone for coming out here today in support of our Port Commission. It's a new year, our first meeting of the year, and we look forward to a bit of a rebound and start picking back up again. So, we wish you all a prosperous new year. Thank you.